What's up, guys? Rob D at Boiling Point LTC on Twitter, Rob D Everything Litecoin on YouTube, and of course my website everythinglitecoin.com, where you can find any kind of Litecoin merchandise, hardware wallets, bill foddles, and HODL Fuel coffee, among other accessories. Really quickly, I want you guys, if you're not familiar with the site, head over there. And right now we are running a Mighty Mia 50/50 campaign where we're raising funding for Litecoin Lisa's Mighty Mia project. So you go over there, you go over everythinglitecoin.com, you click on this one, Litecoin Lisa Team Mighty 50/50 event. You click on that. Tickets are $5. All it takes is one ticket to win and enter and win. So basically you're going to win 50% of the pot. The drawing is going to be on June 22nd, which is the Bitcoin Bend, New Jersey meetup. I'm going to stop taking entries on June 21st. This way I can have some time to put this all together. So not only are you guys going to win 50% of the pot, but you're also going to win a data bunker, which is an incredible prize, and you're going to win an LEPAL wallet. It's probably not going to be this one, but it'll be one of their just their plain LEPAL wallets, not the Litecoin branded one. So that's my shill for a couple minutes. So head over to everythinglitecoin.com, go grab some Litecoin Lisa Mighty Mia tickets, and be entered to win 50% of the pot, the data bunker, and the LEPAL wallet. All right, guys. So let's get into the charts real quick. Last week we were basically calling for some sideways movement. We'll take a look at the weekly real quick, and that was basically sideways. We opened the week at 114.68, and we closed the week at 114.83. So it doesn't get much more sideways than that. We had some pretty decent range within that week. I think our low was about $98, 97.05. And our high was 121.57. Yeah, 121.57 was our high. So we pretty much put in I think June 3rd was Monday, yeah. So June 3rd was Monday. We pretty much dumped down the next 2 days, and then we slowly climbed up, regained our ground that we lost, and we put in this ascending triangle. And before we get into the breakout from this morning, let's kind of just go over some of the indicators that we were looking at this past week. So I made a little list here for you guys. This is our bullish indicators on Litecoin and our bearish indicators. So last night I was actually thinking about shorting Litecoin some, but I'm going to go over this really quickly. Let me show you what I was seeing. So this area here on the MACD. Oh, real quick, guys, if you guys are watching this, what I've been doing is I've been watching replays on like 1.25 or 1.5. It really speeds up the videos, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much how I'm watching YouTube videos. So just a little tip: watch my videos or anybody else's videos on 1.25 or 1.5, and it goes by much quicker, especially these technical analysis videos. So I'm going to look at the MACD real quick. And back here in 2017, we had something similar going on where we had like 3 peaks on our MACD. Let me get rid of this. So this is kind of something similar of what I was looking at, what I was hoping for to play out. So we got the first peak, came back down, second peak, came back down, but midway down we got a recross of our signal line. So price action is very similar. All right, we're getting some similar price action, somewhat in the same ranges as we did over here back in 2017. Our first peak on the MACD got us around $40, and over here was a little bit higher. This peak over here took much longer to occur. But if you guys look at these two patterns here on the MACD, I mean, this is a very similar move as we had here, just on a much bigger scale. So you basically had two little hops, and then you pump up, two hops and a pump up. So these two are very similar moves. We're just going over similarities right now. I thought this day right here, I think that was Saturday, I was looking for that cross just like we did over here. Just like we did here, right? And then we got this little extra pump before coming back down. So we didn't do it right away, but we did it this morning. All right, so we got that cross. We're probably going to jump up a little bit. Let's see what we got here. So these are somewhat similar moves to pump up, come back down, pump up, come back down. You're almost going to retest that old area. So it would basically be a retest of like 105. So if you look at this, the top of this pump right here, about $98. And I think we're definitely somewhere in this area, I'm going to say. I think we're somewhere in this area right here. All right. So we got the first pump up, came back down to the second pump, the extra pump, right? That little extra boost. And then we came back down on the top of this. So something like that would basically be, another pump up and then maybe come back down and retest the bottom of this. So like 105 to 108 maybe. So if we pump up here to say 135, 140, maybe even 150 to test the top of this channel at some point over the next few days, and then come back down and test, maybe back test this old resistance at 120, 121. So something like that can happen. That's one of the similarities going on right now in the MACD indicator. And then if you want to take a look, after we had those two pumps, cool off period, and then we had our final pump, that would look something like that. Come up, cool off, and then that other pump will be way up there. So that is actually, if you look at this, right, this area here looks like a halving pump. This area right there. That definitely looks like a halving pump. Let me show you the Bitfinex chart. This is halving. This was our first halving. Right here. That is what I'm looking for. That gave us a 73% correction there. Let's go back to the other chart. %66%. So very similar moves. But that is what I'm looking for. That is a halving pump right there. That type of move. And if we followed this MACD pattern and we ended up getting like a 3 peak on the MACD, 3 hopper on the MACD, and we do end up there somewhere, and then we get this price action move where it comes up, comes back down to retest, and then boom up, this basically is going to come down, cool off, and then we get that high, that higher high on the MACD before a real sell-off. That 180 is going to be a technical sell-off area. So that could actually be something like the 100 area when we hit that and then we had that crazy dump back down to 65. So that could be like 180 and then a dump back down to, it could be 180 to 200, maybe even more. It all depends. But that's the MACD bullish move that we did. The price action was continuing in the upper Bollinger Band on the daily, and it was testing the mid Bollinger Band, which is actually the 20-day moving average since May 10th. So let me pull up the Bollinger Bands. So yeah, I mean right now, even though we broke out of that ascending triangle, we're basically testing the top of the Bollinger Band. So unless we start to break that, this could just be some more continued sideways movement. We got to see how the rest of this day plays out, but it looks pretty decent. So we've been above this since May 10th, right? And we're using the middle Bollinger Band, which is actually the 20-day moving average, as support. So let me get rid of this indicator. We went over this. And now the bottom Bollinger Band is actually coming up into that channel, which is 90 bucks. So personally, this channel's basically been playing out since December. Okay, guys, so we pretty much had this channel coming down. It pretty much respected this channel all the way down, except for, the first quarter, the first 2 months through February, January, February. And then the rest of the month, and then the rest of the year pretty much played out nicely in that channel. And then now we have a similar channel, a little bit tighter of a channel, moving back up into positive direction. So what was I going over? So we did Bollinger Bands, we did the MACD move, the parabolic stop and reverse. Let's look at that. Take a look at that move real quick. So we're still showing a buy on the stop and reverse. So how you would use this indicator is you're basically placing your stop losses where the dots are. So right here is 102.48. All right, and then this middle line is actually like a signal line. This is a price area that you just recently passed. So a lot of times this will act as support as well. Let's see. And on the weekly, it's showing a buy too for the past 5 weeks. So if you would have followed that, you basically would have bought in at 95 bucks and you'd be up like 25% right now if you're following it on the weekly. Let's see. On the weekly, look at this, where we hit this. This is what I'm saying. This will act as a support. So this area right here where we crossed, that was a strong area of resistance. And then we broke it. And then we basically came back down and retested that area for support. And with this super long wick on the bottom, that just shows there's a lot of buying pressure there, which kind of, signaled the breakout going into this morning. Let's see. So we went over the channel. Long-term channel is acting as strong support and resistance, which is good. We're pretty much following right alongside this channel. We had a little bit of a breakout up and above, but that was a very fast move. If you look at the Bollinger Bands on the daily, that move pretty much, it stretched the Bollinger Bands out pretty far, and then we came back down to retest the 20. Couldn't hold support, came back down a little bit lower, and found support up around that $65 range. So it's always better to move slow and steady, but when you do get those very parabolic moves, we can expect a pullback to that middle Bollinger Band, which we saw here. A lot of times it's going to test it no matter what. It's just a matter of where in the cycle it's going to hit it. So let's hide this real quick to make it a little bit easier to see. So we came up, starting in February, came up, tested the top, came down, went up again, and then tested the middle Bollinger Band. So back here, the Bollinger Band was, the midline was way down here, but as it gets dragged up, it does test it. All right, so it's just a matter of when it actually tests it. So right now it's above it, but by the time this comes up like this, we could have price movement up in here, and then it finally touches it. Something like that. Not saying that's going to happen, but that is what happens with the moving averages and stuff like that. Moving averages are very they're excellent indicators to use because they will act as support and resistance throughout an entire cycle. So it's just a matter of when it's going to hit them. So we did the channel, and let me show you guys. Last night I was talking about wanting to short this, right? So let me get rid of this and get rid of this. So I was looking at the 4-hour chart. All right, and then I was looking at the MACD. I was not liking the fact that we had the cross here. So we were pretty much here. And then we had some strong resistance there. The order books were really stacked on the sell side. And I was looking to short this area and possibly try to grab back down, anywhere from 110 to 105. But I took a look at the... Let me show you guys the accumulation distribution indicator. So I looked at that, and we were here, right? But we were actually climbing on our accumulation indicator. So if you guys look at this, you could basically say that this indicator is smart money versus dumb money. We'll say it like that. So as your price moves up, you can use accumulation distribution as well as OBV together. And as the price moves up, you're basically going to follow price movement, right? And if you don't, if you have a divergence in that, like if you have raising price, but you're diverging down, typically you're near the top and you're going to look for some sort of sell-off. Because that's actually, as you go down, you're distributing. You're selling off to retail investors and things like that, people FOMOing in. But I saw the accumulation rising, breaking up over this resistance here, and we just continue to make higher highs on the accumulation indicator. So that means some big money people are buying in. All right, and we continue to go up in price. Let me try to find you guys an area where that's going to make sense. Like over here, we had a lot of accumulation going on, and now we primed to break out, and we're just making steps. You can actually see the steps really well on this indicator here. So Litecoin's basically moving up, going sideways, moving up, sideways, right? It's just making a nice staircase for itself. That's why I'm saying it's definitely better to move up nice and slow. Look at this parabolic move. From $60 to 99, back down to 65. It was too fast of a move. And if you actually would have used an indicator like this, you would have basically, your red dots here is basically, this indicator doesn't work well in sideways movement because there's just so much, it works, let's just say it works way better in parabolic moves. Just like this move. Buy, buy, buy. Here's your stop loss. Right? It didn't hit it. It didn't hit it here, which was the blue candle here. But we basically set that sell right here. So you would have been selling off on this candle somewhere probably in the 90s. Right? And then you're setting your stop loss here. Right? And then you would have made a couple little swing trades down into the 60s again. This candle was crazy though. We just barely tapped 100. It was like a few cents under, and then it shot down crazy down to the 70s. Like it was like in 15 minutes or something like that. It was crazy. So none of these indicators you can use by themselves. You have to use them with other things as well. There was a lot of indicators showing bearishness yesterday. That's why I was thinking about shorting it. But then when I looked at the accumulation distribution indicator, I saw that there was some accumulation going on. So, that's what prevented me from selling off a few. And just a few short hours later, look what happened. Let's see. So we did have some bearish signals. Like I said before, the daily MACD failed to get a recross over that signal line, signaling some further downside. Mid 114 was acting as a high activity area with bearish pressure, and that's where I was thinking about shorting. But we did actually get that cross on the MACD. So we looked at that before. This is our second hump. We came back. This is right here is where I thought we were going to cross again, right on June 8th, which was Saturday. I thought we were going to cross there. That would have been the same exact move as 2017. The same exact thing that happened over here. Right here. Right? You had a nice dip down, and then you poke back up over it again. That gives you that last little push there before coming back down and moving sideways. So let's get some measurements here off this bottom. A measured move, 67%. We were basically here. So 67% up. You're thinking about maybe 160. I don't know if we're going to get that high, though. That's I'm thinking somewhere in the 140s to 150s is going to be a pretty solid target. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in this area. We're basically at the top of this now. Our blue dashed line is our price line. So we're pretty much here right now. And, you know, once we break this area, you know, 140 is definitely another area where we're going to see some, you know, we had a wick down and a retest there. We had some candles coming up to test it. We had a wick down and a test here. So right around that 140, 145 range or so. So I think that could possibly be the top of our next, you know, little move here in this bigger picture trend. So we'll just have to wait and see how that's going to play out this week. But yeah, I pretty much went over all the notes I was taking the past couple of days. And yeah, I mean, it looks good. Now we could take a look at that breakout. So we put in that ascending triangle. And we broke out. Now we could potentially have on the 4-hour we broke up too. And that MACD line looks very parabolic. So could be something similar to this move here, where we got, you know, a good couple days worth of candles there. Let's see if there's any other indicators I wanted to go over with you guys. I think I pretty much covered what I wanted to go over. We had a nice breakout. My targets would probably be 140 to 145 and kind of reassess from there with a potential area of, you know, 160 possibly. I don't know about 160 right now. I do like that 140 to 145 area as a, you know, an area of resistance. And then we could possibly go up to that 140, 145 area. Move sideways a little bit, maybe back down into the 130s, high 120s, somewhere like that. And then we get that final move where I was talking about before, where we get that halving pump. You know, and let's take a look at some time analysis real quick too, to see where we would line up. So if we're somewhere in this area here, which I think is a very strong possibility, we could see something like, let's see, say we're here, all right, and then the top of that is 60 days. Rough estimates here. We're not nitpicking. So 60 days from here puts us at August 9th. A little long. It's definitely a little long. I think it's going to have to speed up a little bit, but it's close. All right, it's definitely within a few percentage day wise. So I think somewhere mid-July I would probably say we're going to see something like that. I've said end of June, early July. I think we could possibly hit 180 towards the end of June. It would be awesome to hit 180 June 22nd. That would be incredible. And then even further appreciation from there. Maybe up above 200 before having. That would be these moves on the MACD are very, much stronger than the past year, 2017. Basically, our double top move on the MACD now is similar to the top, the third one in September. I can't really get across what I'm trying to say, but right here, guys. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2. Where's the third one? Up here somewhere, maybe. And we had resistance right here on the MACD. And then we broke through. Had that parabolic move before the dump down, which was here, which is now our resistance levels on the MACD now. So if we break through that, you guys see where the next one is? Way up close to 70. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it's a possibility. All right, this has been a very strong uptrend. We have a lot of dips to buy up here. This was our biggest dip here from 99 and change back down to 65. That was our best buying opportunity. And I see something similar here. If we do get that halving pump that everybody's, eyeing up, if we do get into that $180 to $200 range and then come back way back down, maybe to 120. So we'll just have to see how this week plays out. But we pretty much were looking for sideways movement last week. We got it. And we'll see how this week kind of plays out. But this week we could actually end up touching, 130s, 140s, and then coming back down and, moving sideways again next week or, for the, third week in June, and then make that move up to the parabolic pre-halving pump. So I'm pretty sure I went over everything with you guys, everything I was seeing. I went over all the notes and stuff, so I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys found some good knowledge here, some good information. If you haven't, you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Remember to watch my videos on 1.5 playback speed. All right, it'll speed things up and not have you guys sit through a 20-something minute video, which I'm sure this is right about now. So I try to keep them fast, but it's hard when there's so many things to go over. But hopefully we make that move this week, and like my name says on Twitter, Litecoin to 180 end of June. Hopefully. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.